I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Try to catch me howling at the
Hey, what's going on, shooters? Welcome to Centerfire TV, and thanks for tuning in. This is the first video on the channel, so it seemed fitting to do it on a really cool pistol I just picked up, the new Staccato XC. Before we get started, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you'll be alerted when I drop new videos. And if you like the content, go ahead and click the like button and maybe leave a comment if there's something you want to see in the future. Alright, so let's get started. If you aren't familiar with the name Staccato, you're probably very familiar with the company itself, STI. STI forged their reputation building competition-style 2011 pistols. If you aren't familiar with what a 2011 is, it's basically a 1911, John Browning's iconic design we all know and love. It's just that the 2011 is updated with features that today's shooters expect in more modern handguns. Higher capacity magazines, usually chambered in 9mm, polymer grips, optics mounting solutions, all the mods that allow the 1911 design to compete with today's plastic fantastics, while maintaining those things that we knew and love about the original design. Staccato recently changed their name from STI while trying to push their product lineup towards newer, more duty and service-based pistols. Their goal was to prove that you could blend all the high-end performance characteristics of a competition gun like this, fast and flat shooting, but still get the reliability of a service pistol. In January of 2019, STI offered their duty and personal defense lineup with the Staccato P and the Staccato C. When the P series was picked up by a few law enforcement agencies, they kind of knew they were on the right track. For 2020, STI is now fully transformed to the Staccato name. This model, the XC, is their flagship gun and incorporates all their knowledge and technology and 25 years of gun building experience. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to give you a brief rundown of the pistol itself, show you everything that comes with it, spend a little time showing you all the details of the pistols and all of its features. Then I want to get to the good stuff, show you how it shoots. Before we do all that, in the interest of transparency, I want to tell you that I have zero connections with STI Staccato. I bought and paid for this pistol myself. No one gave me anything to do this video. You'll be getting my straight up opinion on it. So without any further delay, let's dive in and take a look. Alright, so before we get into the features of the pistol, let's take a look at a couple things that it comes with. First, I want to take a look at, obviously people like to look at the carrying case, It's simple. It's a nice soft-sided carrying case with the embroidery on it, 2011 Staccato name. It comes with 3 magazines. Now, on the website, it says it's supposed to come with 1 17-round and 2 20-round mags. Mine came with 3 20-round mags, which I'm happy about because I'm winning at life already then, right? The new magazines for the Staccato series for 2020 are, I think this is DLC coating, which I like a lot better. The old designs were like this. The polished metal designs, the stainless designs. I didn't like these as much as I like these. These look a lot better. And I really like the aluminum base pads on them too. That's pretty cool. Obviously, it comes with all the safety stuff inside, all the locks and everything. It comes with a little target shot by, I guess, by the gunsmith or whatever, shows that it shoots. That's fine. One of the things that is cool is, so this pistol is set up for optics mounting, like it has an RMR on it right now. You can put a Delta Point, a Delta Pro, a Loophole Delta Point Pro on it. You could put an SRO on it, a Trijicon SRO on it. And it comes with the Dawson Precision Duo, Dawson Universal Optic Tactical System, the reflex system. What's cool about it is it comes with the package and all the parts inside are numbered. So what you do is you just take a look at the card itself, see what optic you're going to be mounting, like in this case it was an RMR, and then it tells you exactly which number bag to grab out, because that'll correlate to the different screws and pins that you need to make mounting your optic pretty easy. For knuckleheads like me, that was really convenient. I appreciated that. All right, so let's take a quick look at the actual pistol itself. So, like I said, it's basically a 1911. So that means it's going to be a single stage trigger, and it's going to be hammer fired, and it's going to have a safety on it. Okay, so unlike a striker fired pistol, which has a little dingus as your safety, this actually has a safety that you have to drop in order to be able to fire the gun. Let's check, make sure it's unloaded. All right, so the actual pistol itself, it uses a 5-inch barrel. It is a bull barrel, and it has an integral compensator. It's not mounted on there. It's actually machined into the barrel, or the barrel's machined into the compensator. I don't know, whichever one comes first, but either way, it's an actual solid one-piece machined unit. The front sight post is mounted on an island that is actually machined out of the barrel and the compensator. So it's a little unusual. The front sight post does not reciprocate with the slide. It stays in place. That's supposed to make it easier to track while you're firing. The entire gun, all the metal parts are DLC coated. DLC stands for diamond like carbon. It should be SAS, slick as snot, because I love this stuff. It's very slick. It adds almost like a lubricating property to the metal almost. It makes it very slick. All the parts, it's got a really nice, like a satin finish to it. I love DLC. I've had a couple things DLC coated in the past on other guns, like AR-15 bolt carrier groups. I've had bolt actions for bolt action type rifles coated in DLC. I really love this stuff. It's really cool. Moving on our way back here, obviously it's got the safety system. As I said, this uses an ambidextrous safety. I do really like the safety on this gun. I'm really picky about my 1911 safeties. I cannot stand when the safety is mush. This is not. It's very crisp detent, but it's not overtly difficult to actually activate it. Okay, so it's got a very nice crisp nick to it, and the weak side safety for you lefties is actually very well done. It's not loose and wiggly like I've seen some in the past, and that's why any custom 1911 I've ever had build, I don't have a weak side safety put on it. The one of the things that's different, we've seen models like this from STI, like their DVC-P and the DVC Omni, but this is a little different for 2020. The Staccato, this is their best gun. According to Staccato, they believe this is the best gun they've ever built. They changed a few things on it for this year. They changed the compensator. It's a single port compensator now, as opposed to the multi-port compensator that they used to have. Staccato claims that it significantly reduces recoil. But one of the biggest things they've changed is the actual grips itself. Now it's the G2 polymer. I think they said it's like a polymer molding. So if you're familiar with STI guns in the past, they always had the same material, but they hand stippled it. I don't know if the gunsmith did it or if they had a stippling guy do it, but STI was known for their stippling pattern. Sometimes it looked more like dragon scales, sometimes it looked like tree bark, but it was all hand done. This is more, at least to my eye, it's more finished. I like this a lot better. It has a more finished look to it. The grip is very nice, it's comfortable. It's not quite as spiky and sharp feeling, which I actually like, and I think it looks a lot better. Look, on a pistol that costs as much as STI or Staccato pistols cost, the stippling shouldn't look like something I could do. This is actually very professional and finished looking. I really enjoy it. The other thing they changed is it's got a different magwell. This is a really nice magwell. It makes it real easy for mags to find home. They go in real easy, but it's not big and obtrusive like a full-on race gun has, you know, the big ridiculous looking ones. So I really like it. Standard mag release, it is extended, nothing fancy about that. It's nice. It's got an accessory rail on it. I wouldn't call it's not a Picatinny rail, it's an accessory rail for mounting lights and stuff like that. It's got your standard, it's got a really nice beaver tail grip safety. As far as grip safeties go, this one you'll notice is pinned. I pinned it. I can't stand grip safeties on 1911s. Any 1911 I have, I pin it. Grip safeties for me are unsafe. They don't work. I can't disengage them with my hand. The grip I take a high grip and I ride the safety. And when I do, there's something about the meat in the palm of my hand here. It just goes concave right there and it won't activate the grip safety. So half the time when I'm drawing the pistol on that draw stroke and I'm presenting it, I'm thinking, oh, please go off, and I pull the trigger and then nothing happens. So what I do on all of mine, and look, this is going to be a competition gun for me anyway. This isn't, I'm not going to use this as a defensive gun. I know a lot of people are going to freak out. You shouldn't be disabling safeties. Look, a lot of 1911 designs now and a lot of new modern guns that use single stage, hammer fired, safety operated triggers, they're doing away with the grip safeties. Wilson Combat's new EDC X9 and X9S don't have a grip safety on it. There's a couple different 2011 manufacturers that make guns that don't have grip safeties on it. So again, it's a competition gun and it's legal in competition to pin it. All you do is drop the mainspring housing and I drill a little hole in the top of the plastic mainspring housing and then push it back up with a roll pin inserted in that hole, and that roll pin hits that tang and it'll drop the hammer without the grip safety activated. So now I never have to worry about when I present the gun, is it going to go bang or not? So one of the other things I really like about this pistol is the internals. 2011s, I can't stand having to use, 2011s are notorious for having to need a tool to take them apart, because what happens is when you take the slide off, the recoil guide rod, the spring is captured in there and you need to use a tool to trap it so after you compress it so you could take it apart and pull it out. You normally need like a little paper clip or something. Well, I don't like having to have a paper clip with me to take my gun apart. The XC uses the Dawson Precision guide rod and it's toolless, which I love. So it makes it so easy to take it apart. It comes apart real easy, goes back together just as easy. One of the other things I really love what they did with this, if you're familiar with 2011 pistols or 1911 pistols for that matter, when you put the slide stop back in after you're putting the slide back on and you insert it, you have to push down and up at the same time to get this slide stop to pop back in. And sometimes if you miss and it doesn't go in, but it goes up, it'll slide across your slide and scratch the heck out of your slide. And I think they call them rookie stripes for the guys that screw it up and they mess their brand new finish up. I can only imagine what it would be like having a nice brand new blued, custom 1911 and you dig a scratch into it. With what they've done to this, the way this is shaped now, it just pops right in and it goes straight in. Now it makes it much easier to put the gun back together as well. All right, so let's talk about the trigger. And let's face it, there's two reasons you buy a 1911. You buy a 1911 because you love the grip angle. The grip angle is natural, it's normal. Look, I love Glocks, and I've carried them for years. I carried them on duty. I carry them as my personal defense gun. It's my nightstand gun. I love Glocks. I can't stand the grip angle. I don't know why Glock hasn't figured it out yet. No one likes their grip angle. The grip angle on the 1911 is natural. It just leaves your hand like this, and you point the pistol, and it's natural. You don't have to do this like you do with a Glock. You don't have to bend your wrist, and it makes finding a dot sight a lot easier as well. But the other thing that people love about the 1911 is the trigger, because you cannot beat a single stage trigger like on a 1911. You just can't. I don't care how good your Glock is. I don't care how good your SIG X carry is. I don't care how good your Walther PPQ is. A striker fired trigger is never going to be this. This trigger, this single stage trigger, is just so crisp. It's so light, and it's so fast. You can't get a striker fire to feel like this. So just to take a quick look, you'll see you get a little bit of creep right there. That's just slop right there. When you hit that wall, it's crisp. It stops. It's immediate. No mush, no sponginess, no squeeziness, no crunchiness. And you pull back, and with about 2.5 pounds, 3 pounds of pressure, it breaks clean. I mean, you can't compare to that. That's the best trigger you're ever going to get. Okay? You run the slide, reset, is just as crisp. Look at that. I mean, I barely moved it, and it drops again. You can't beat that trigger, and that's why, that is one of the biggest reasons why the 1911 design has persisted for so long. I mean, this is over 100-year-old gun, and there are admittedly some things about the way they operate. They're really complicated compared to today's striker-fired guns. Taking them apart, completely field stripping them, is more complicated than today's striker-fired guns. They're not, arguably, and I know I'm going to get burned on this, they're not as reliable as today's striker-fired guns are either. But when they're kept in the right conditions and they're used the way they're meant to be used, their performance is unmatched. And when you evolve it to this stage, to this standard, it's really unmatched. There's really nothing that shoots like this. So with that in mind, let's head out to the range, or let's show you some footage of it performing at the range. And I mean, keeping in mind, look, I'm not a great shooter by any stretch of the imagination, but this thing will fool you. This thing will fool you. You will think you are. So let's take a look. So what are my impressions? Before I get started slobbering all over this thing, keep in mind, I've never shot a race gun like this before, let alone owned one. Now, I know the guys at Staccato would say this isn't a race gun. I know, but it's a race gun. I mean, come on, you simply can't hide this gun's pedigree. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not a bad thing. But that's like taking a Ferrari 458 Italia, painting it flat black, throwing a license plate on it, and saying it isn't a race car. Just because it's flat black and street legal doesn't mean it isn't a race car. Because it is. And again, that's not a bad thing. I mean, who doesn't love a Ferrari, race car or not? That being said, the performance of this thing kind of caught me off guard. I just didn't realize how flat and fast a gun like this could shoot. There's a reason you'll never see an initial mag reaction from me on this gun, because after the first mag, I just stood there for 30 seconds with a stupid look on my face and a shit-eating grin. I mean, this thing is just stupid. It's fast. I mean, it's lightning fast. The gun barely recoils. At first, it makes you think you did something wrong, like loaded the wrong ammo. Did I just load 380 in this fucking thing? It's accurate. It's a hell of a lot more accurate than I am. All right, 50 yards accuracy test. Little target. The gun runs like it's on nitromethane, but I'm sure that comes at a price. I know Staccato claims this gun is part of their tactical and combat gun lineup, but honestly, I wouldn't trust it for that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't use a $4,300 pistol as my shit hit the fan gun anyways, no matter how reliable it was. But the close tolerances, the fit, the finish, the parts that make this thing so slick, accurate, fast, and badass are also the same things that make it unable to stand up to the rigors of hard abuse in less than ideal environments like dust, dirt, and mud. But again, that's not what this gun is made for, no more than I would use a 458 Italia to go off-roading or rock climbing. Sometimes you need a Jeep or a Ford F-150 Glock to save the day. Now maybe the boys at Staccato disagree, in which case if they would like to send me a loaner XC to torture test, I'd be glad to oblige them, but I'm not doing it to my baby. As far as my personal experience regarding the reliability of the gun, I only have about 750 rounds through it. Right now, all of it's been 124 grain Lawman. That's ball ammo, so it's pretty reliable. But I've had two malfunctions. One was just a failure to feed. The bullet got stuck on the ramp, and I had to smack the slide back into battery, and it started firing again and didn't have any problems after that. The second wasn't a gun issue, it was a magazine issue. 2 rounds just got wedged inside the barrel of the magazine and they got stuck there, and I had to take the mag apart and knock it out to get it to come out. So I consider that a magazine failure, not a gun failure. But overall, I absolutely love the gun. I watch TV just fidgeting with it, running the slide back and forth. I mean, it feels so good. But I mean, for $4,300, that's the kind of stuff you expect. This thing just oozes quality and sexiness. If Darth Vader carried a pistol, this would be it. So for me, it was worth every penny. I've never splurged on a handgun like this. This thing's price is in the stratosphere. I always thought expensive pistols started at $1,500. Really expensive pistols started at $2,500. So where does that put this pistol? On a different planet, that's where. But what a really badass planet. So there we have it. That's my 2 cents. If you ever get a chance to shoot one, I'd highly suggest it. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and remember to subscribe, check out new content, and we'll see you guys out there. Thanks a lot.